Alright, not only we got the end, but we also got the thick Waifu Knight of Cater Sanctuary. So let's begin. But first, cards for the last few days, not counting any collabs because I don't care about those anymore. First off, in a double rare, which is a Dark States card, Steam Maiden Dahi. Grade 1, 8 power and skills. Auto when placed on rearguard from hand, if your soul has 8 or more different cards, cost counterblast 1, choose a grade 1 or less card from soul and call it to rearguard. If your soul has 10 or more different names, grade 4 or less instead. This is obviously for the new Chaos deck because that deck focuses on soul with different names. But a choice +1 is a good +1. And then, Knight of Loyalty Benevere, which is a grade 2 with taking power and skills. Auto when placed on rearguard, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost counterblast 1, soul blast 1, search your deck for Knight of Friendship K and call it to rearguard in the same column as this unit and then shuffle your deck. Pretty overcosted for one specific unit, especially that one specific unit, spoiler alert, isn't going to be great in the Overdress series. Because Knight of Friendship K is a grade 1 with K power with the skill of count rearguard during the battle that this unit boosts Benevere, this card gets with 5k. So 23k column that works together. I was expecting them to work together, although I was not expecting them to be this bad. You can quote unquote call it a beater +1 engine. And now to the Tuesday stream. Here are some V promos. I'm not going to go over them. They're just decent support cards for Magus and Witches. And then surprisingly, we got 2 new heal triggers in this set. Both types will have 10k base shield, and both of them will get 15k extra shield depending on circumstance. The one on the left will get a 15k shield if a unit attacks more than one time during the turn, so meaning that against multi-attack units, this is actually pretty decent. Unfortunately, it has to be those scenarios where it has to be restood units. And then the one on the right gets a 15k shield if the unit's crit is crit of 2, but it won't get the extra 15k shield if the crit was gained through a trigger or its original crit was 2. Well, I guess the crit defense one is pretty much weaker because many decks don't really get crit pressure. And definitely the multi-attack one is a little better because many decks do multi-attack, especially with restanding rear guards, especially in the Overdress format. Although I'm not entirely sure do I really want to run these, at the same time I would in specific scenarios, so it might be a 2 and 2, but mostly it just depends on the format. And here are the other restanding defensive heals. And then to the Thegrea ride line, here's the starter, Knight of Integrity Thegrea. Very thick waifu and already tempting to play it. Next to the grade 1, Beneath the Brilliant Light Thegrea, which also has AK power of course, and its skill is auto when rolled upon by the grade 2 Thegrea. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's a grade 2 or less unit, you may call that card as rest. Return it to the original spot if you did not call. And also has the glitter ability. Typical grade 1 for giving you some pluses. Next to the grade 2, Harsh Training Thegrea, which also has 10k power of course, and its skill is when rolled upon by the grade 3 Thegrea, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then choose up to 1 Thegrea or Maple from among them and add it to your hand, and then of course shuffle your deck, and also has the glitter ability. At least this is not one of those typical grade 2s that reverses your minus, basically returns something from the drop zone or something. This one can actually set up your plays, and unlike most ride lines, this one actually says any Thegrea, meaning your grade 1, 2, and 3 are all Thegreas, and you have 2 different type of grade 3 Thegreas. So if you want to add extra consistency, you could actually add more Thegreas in your deck, although I don't recommend adding more grade 1s or grade 2s because they're pretty useless on rear guards. And now to the grade 3 Thegrea, one who walks the path of light Thegrea, which also has 13k power of course, and its skill is count. When you would normal ride a Thegrea unit from your hand with a different name, it also becomes a persona ride. Why it has such an ability? That's because there's actually a light side of her, which is this one, and a dark side of her. And your goal with this deck is to swap between the 2 sides of Thegrea. So yes, there are 2 grade 3 Thegreas, so choose one in your ride deck. But anyway, continue off. Her second skill is Act Vanguard. Once per turn, cost counterblast 1. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 grade 2 or less unit from among them and call it to rearguard, and then of course shuffle your deck. But if you have a Dark Thegrea in your soul, choose 2 instead. Not bad. And then to the third skill, Auto Vanguard. At the end of battle that this unit attack, if you wrote it on top of Dark Thegrea this turn, cost discard a card from hand, choose one of your rear guards and stand it. And of course it also has a glitter ability. Being the light side of Thegrea, she's obviously going to be more kind-hearted with supporting her allies. Overall, it's not too bad. It just gives you a plus and a restanding rear guard, which is an okay skill. Just don't like that you have to ride it on top of Dark Thegrea during the turn just to do it. Speaking of which, one who blooms in the dark, Thegrea. Grade 3, 13 power and skills. Same first skill as the other Thegrea, where when you would normal ride a different Thegrea unit, it also becomes a persona ride. But the second skill gets more brutal, as this is Dark Thegrea we're talking about. Act Vanguard. Once per turn, cost retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rearguards, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. But if you have Light Thegrea in Soul, retire all your opponent's rearguards in the same column as the chosen unit. I think it would have been better if it says choose 2 of your opponent's rearguards and retire instead, but oh well. But like I said, her dark side is more brutal. As you can tell, the light side gets more allies, while the dark side sacrifices her allies and does more kills. And speaking going for the kill, third skill, Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, at the end battle of this unit attacked, if it was rode upon Light Thegrea during this turn, cost Counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, stand this unit, drive -1 until the end of the turn, and it also has a glitter ability. So yeah, a re-standing Vanguard after riding on top of Light Thegrea. I'm gonna say this is a pretty decent finisher. Light Thegrea is the one that sets up your board, while Dark Thegrea is the one who finishes off the game. It's not really hard to tell. Light Thegrea is the one who sets up your board, while Dark Thegrea goes for the kill. So of course first ride will be Light Thegrea. But I do like the concept of this. There's a light and dark side of a specific unit, similar to the Blaster Blade and Blaster Dark concept, except that they are 2 different characters. And I might end up even playing it because I really like this Waifu Knight as well with the concept. And now to her glitter card, which is also Thegrea, Atrocious, Moth Girl Maple. Grade 2, taking power and skills. Auto drop zone. When you ride your grade 3 or greater during your ride phase while this card is in the drop zone and you don't even have a copy of Maple on the field, you can call this to rearguard. Free plus is a free plus. Second skill, Glitter Thegrea. Auto rearguard. At the end of battle that this unit attack, cost Soul Blast 1 or more cards, choose a card from her soul with the same grade as the number of cards you Soul Blasted and add it to your hand. And then put this card to Soul. Not bad, since there's 2 sides of Thegrea, you can Soul Blast 3 to add the other side of Thegrea back to your hand, which does give you a decent consistency on rewriting. Not only that, she also goes to Soul, so you Soul Blast her out, you could actually re-superior call her, which is not hard because one of her costs is actually Soul Blasting. So overall it's not bad, especially that your goal is to re-ride over and over. And then to the Overlord stuff. Our first card is Burning Horn Dragon. Grade 2, taking power and skills. Auto, when placed on rearguard, cost Counterblast 1, look at top 7 cards from your deck, choose one Overlord from among them and put it to your hand, and then of course shuffle your deck. But if you could not add a card, you countercharge 1. Overlord Searcher, but if you fail, it's a nice try. Might see some play in Premium. Especially for the second skill, where Auto Rearguard, when your Overlord Vanguard attacks, this card gets those 5k power until the end of turn. It's not once per turn, and of course, since this is Overlord we're talking about, it's multi-attack. So overall, it's not too bad. Although you might not run 7 main deck Overlords in Overdress, since 1, you got a ride deck, and your goal is to of course ride regular Overlord first, which will be in your ride deck, but your goal is to ride the end right after regular Overlord, because the end is obviously your main play. I mean, it's not bad to Persona ride either, but I'd rather go straight for the end play right after and keep it as the end. Although they could make good discard fodder though. And now to the evolved Legend of Overlord, Dragonic Overlord The End, which is a grade 3 with 13 power and skills. Count Vanguard during your turn if your soul has regular Dragonic Overlord. This card will not lose drive checks through card abilities, and it also gets 5k power. So 18k base during your turn, and it's going to stay twin drive because the second skill is obviously going to be a restand skill that might also lose drive checks. Which the second skill is Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, at the end of battle that this card attack, cost Counterblast 1, discard 2 cards from your hand, stand this unit, and drive -1 to the end of turn. So if you have this at full power, it's twin drive, twin drive. At least it doesn't need a hit to do so, and it's a consistent restand. But of course you can always play this in your ride deck and just ride this straight away, be a 13k attacker, and then restand it with 1 drive check. This way you won't be losing your Persona ride 1 turn sooner, and Dragon Empire does have a decent soul charge engine through Eugene, although you do have to rely a little bit on luck to get the regular Overlord and Soul, but it is doable. So it is up to the player if they want to go full power the end on turn 4, or they could go straight up the end and then start going for kills. Overall, I am glad that it's not a copy and paste of V Overlord, because V Overlord is much more superior, and I was afraid of a triple restanding Vanguard. And at least it doesn't need to do attack hit like the original. And I'll take that. And next week we got Majesty Lord Blaster along with the Brand Gate Cross Epics ride line. Curious if the Brandgate ride line will have a set order, because so far all the Brandgate decks revolve around set orders. Although seeing syringes on her pocket, I actually think it might be a laboratory set order. So that's it for these reveals. What do you guys think about the new Thegrea ride line along with the new Overlord DN? Honestly, I like both of them. Thegrea is actually a pretty interesting ride line here. I really like the concept of having both a light and dark version in the same deck. Similar in a way of Majesty Lord, except that Blaster Blade and Dark is two different characters. And not only that she's a thick Waifu Knight, I really like the playstyle of switching back between light and dark. And then when it comes to Overlord at the end, well, it's just typical Overlord just to be restanding. And the Legend of Overlord, of course. At least that it's not a copy and paste of the Overlord, because I was a little worried about the triple attack Overlord. But on that, that's it for this, and see y'all next time.